So, Tim, you mentioned the term experience design. I don't come from a design background. Can you
Yeah.
explain what is actually experience design?
Well, I guess it goes back to how do you create value? For us, we have something called a value creation engine, and this is a structure in the way we try to frame the problem so that we can solve the problem. But we start with human outcomes. If you're any designer, the value that you bring to the world is delivering something that has some impact for people. Turns out that's also the way you create value economically. So you create value for people, they will tend to participate in your product, in your brand, whatever it may be. So the first thing we try to do is frame human outcomes. What are the objectives that make sense for your brand, the things that you stand for, and then define what are the outcomes that you should be achieving for those people who engage with your brand. The second part is then you form the strategy, and the strategy has to ladder back to those outcomes. You can have all kinds of strategies. There's a million strategy companies out there looking at different ways of doing things, looking at things that other people have done, but there's a lot of noise in that. What you need to be doing is creating a strategy that ladders back to the human outcome. And then the next layer is the tactic. And the tactics that you use have to support the strategy. So the tactics support the strategy supports the outcomes. I would say 90% of the companies who originally come to us will come to us with a tactical idea, some tactic in mind. I saw so-and-so do this particular solution. I want to do that solution. And so we have to say, okay, that's an interesting tactic. Let's put it in the tactic box. But we don't know if it makes any sense until we have a strategy and outcome definition. And if it does, then the tactic could make perfect sense. On the other hand, it could be a complete mistake because it doesn't support your hierarchy. And so we try to frame experience design as then the experience are the different touch points that convey that strategy and deliver those outcomes. It seems, I guess, like a lot of jargon, but it's fundamentally a simple 3-step kind of framework. But if you put the right pieces in the right place, it's organizing the thought is half the battle. And I think that it's been very helpful for us to develop that approach and to continue to practice and improve on that approach based on experience we've had in China, experience we've had in the Middle East, experience in North America and Europe, etc. So it seems to be something that does relate back to really human nature. And ultimately, that's what we're dealing with here is how to get people to behave in a way with your brand or with your company that's fulfilling and engaging.